What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the most important NYCFC talk show. It's time for the Dudes in Blue. It's episode number 132. Hope you guys are doing well. I know we are. I'm your host, Joe Amato, and alongside me, as always,
Antonino. What is up, everybody?
Dude, what's happening?
I apologize for my setup right now. My computer just schwitzed on me, and I'm working off the cell phone.
Well, listen, isn't it great we have technology?
Yes.
Technology is a beautiful thing. It's definitely beautiful.
Beautiful thing.
Well, let us know. Let us know if you're in the broadcast on Facebook or if you're tuning in on the podcast. We thank you guys so much for spending some time with us. It's a little bit of a bonus episode here, but well warranted because NYCFC put in a really great night's work last night against Philly at home in the knockout round. The first time NYCFC has ever played in a knockout round. Obviously, the first time they've ever gotten a win, so they advanced to the Eastern Conference semifinals. Major accomplishment for this club. We're definitely going to talk about that tonight, I assume. Right, dude?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Make sure to give us the follow. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're at Dudes in Blue. And if you're watching live on Facebook, make sure to hit that share button right now. Hit the share button right now. Do it. We want this to go out to the NYCFC masses. Let's do it. Let's say hi real quick to a few people. The first comment is Uncle Dom. What's going on, Uncle Dom? Jason Pena. Hey, my mom's in here too. Hey, Mom. Joey coming in. Lalo. John Levin is asking, Dome in? ? Not so fast there, John Levin, you voice of reason, you. Christian Smith. Zoran coming in. Yeah, dude. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
The locals have arrived.
Garrett Beja is here as well, saying hello. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with us. Anyway, dude, let's get right into this meat and potatoes of what happened. Obviously, they are moving on, which is amazing. Monumental, inaugural knockout round win?
Whatever you want to call
Historic?
It. It was a hell of a lot of fun.
Amazing. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the room. The stadium was empty from what I saw on TV, dude. I had to take my son trick-or-treating last night, which was a blast, by the way. I would not have missed that for the world, unless it was the MLS Cup final.
Yeah, you and 15,000 other people.
Yeah,
you know? It's tough. It's between the television and the MLS schedule. It's difficult, and Do I blame anybody for not showing up? Absolutely not. NYCFC will play in hundreds of games in our lifetime, but you only get to make memories with your kids once. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope everybody was safe. And I hope they, had a little pep in their step because they were watching the game on their phones as they were walking around.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, to Lalo's point here on Facebook, they were loud as hell. You felt like the supporter section. Tinnerholm, by the way, was like riling the crowd up. It was fantastic to watch.
Yeah, actually, so sitting there, it didn't sound too different than it normally does, which kudos to the supporter section because they did a fantastic job. It didn't seem like they were down in numbers, but they were as loud as they always are. And it really didn't sound different, which just goes to show you how much a soccer-specific stadium means when it comes to sound. The sound just doesn't go anywhere. And you can tell because if the stadium's packed and it still sounds like that, the sound is just leaving. It's just fleeting, and it just goes upward and outward. But again, kudos to supporter groups for making it sound like a regular, full house, and it was really something special. It really, really was.
Dude, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the game here, I want to get to a very important comment here from Zoran, who decided to share this very little nice tidbit on Facebook here. He says, guys, I have to share a funny fact. I bought underwear, the same NYCFC colors, and put them on for the game. Now I will wear those every time we play in a playoff as a lucky charm. And he did say, of course, I will wash them. So,
no, sir.
Everybody out there.
You don't wash. If you wash them, you wash the good luck out of them. So I say unto you, I've worn the same sweatshirt for the last 2 games. I got 2 wins out of it. That thing ain't going anywhere near the wash. You want to Febreze it, you could do that, but you don't put him in the wash.
Everybody thank Zoran's Underwear for the knockout round win on Facebook. Okay.
And now we need the brand and the style so we can all go out and purchase our own.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, dude, let's get into the lineup here, because once again, we saw a solid lineup from Domitaren. And really, for me, the midfield was solid. Our defenders were solid. Sean Johnson was solid. You had Tajuri Shradi start over Jesus Medina, which I thought was an absolutely phenomenal switch. And obviously, Tajuri Shradi was a major difference maker in the match, much more than I think Jesus Medina was on Sunday night against Philly. Much bigger impact from our right winger, right, dude?
Absolutely. No comment, no argument there. 150%. Just, I told my dad before the game, I said he's going to do something this game. I said Shradi he's going to have to come up big and do something. And listen, he's done it pretty much all season long. He's been the clutch one. He's been the guy who's, taken the ball and not been afraid. After the first game he had, he was just lights out almost every single time out there. So I expected it from him, and he actually came through, and he scored a beauty of a goal.
Dude, we were talking about this before we went on the air here. Dude, he didn't even pick his head up.
No, he knew exactly what he wanted to do, and a good striker of the ball. I mean, they know exactly how they want to hit it, and sometimes it's how you strike the ball and where, rather than where your placement is on net. Because if you put the right movement on that ball, it's impossible to stop. And he struck that as well as anybody could ever strike a ball. It had the perfect amount of dip on it afterwards to get under the bar. It was just a great strike, and not too many keepers are going to be able to stop that. So a great start, and I think when a person like Shradi can come on and make an immediate impact, it should pretty much cement his role moving forward with these playoff games. He's going to be super important as we go forward.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, going back to the lineup and the starting 11 and just the overall formation, once again, dude, straight up 4-3-3, man. This is, if you ask me, this is how you got to play every single game. The one thing that I'm not crazy about is how defensive they get in the second half. I don't like that they don't go after it. They invite way too much pressure. And listen, Philly had some opportunities. They just couldn't find that final pass. They were having a very difficult time finding that final pass. But had they been able to do that, NYCFC would have some serious trouble in the second half. We were on the front foot for the entire first, right? There's no question about that. I mean, picking up 2 goals in the first half, going up 2-0 into the half, we totally dominated. But as soon as that second half whistle started, it was inviting pressure, and that's not a look that I particularly like from this NY. We've seen this 2 games straight, so it's not a look that I particularly like.
It's funny because it's a similar lineup to what we had in the beginning of the year, where it was always the first half was the half where you feel each other out. You don't get too defensive or too offensive. You take your good chances, and then in the second half, you make your adjustments and you turn it on. And we did that at home pretty much the whole season. This is like the same lineup, but doing it flip-flop. This is going out and striking first early and often as possible, and then all of a sudden trying to shut it down. And I just think, again, I'm like you. I'm not 100% comfortable with inviting that much pressure.
For 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah. Like if you're up a goal at the half and you're going forward, I definitely wouldn't do that. I would totally try to keep on the offensive.
Even up 2 goals, dude, like they were, because listen, that one goal completely changes the game. 2-0 exactly. Compared to 2-1 is a very different game. Absolutely.
Again, at no point do I'm not a big park the bus kind of guy. I'm not a big inviter of offense, unless it's like the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game, 10 minutes tops. I don't think, unless you have a huge lead, I don't think that it's safe it's safe to do that, and one goal can just change everything, especially now when you're talking about a two-legged series moving forward in this one and possibly the next one if you get that far. We've seen it, we've lived it. One goal could mean the difference. So in a meaningless game, a meaningless 3-1, that one goal might be meaningless in the first game, but all of a sudden that second game it proves to be pivotal. So I don't like the amount of pressure. I don't like playing that defensive. I do like the fact that we were able to get a goal in the second half, unlike Sunday night's game. But ultimately, I just think that's a little bit too much defense for my liking. But again, if it's going to win them the game, I think a lot of the things that happened the last two games need to stay the same in order for us to be successful or even challenge moving forward. I think if you try to go back to the middle of the end of the season and tinker around and try to play differently, I don't think it's going to work. I think this is what gives people fits. I think playing the way we've been playing gives a lot of people trouble, minus one or two teams that know what to do. And then as long as you have a plan for those two or three teams, I think you're okay. But this really needs to be the core of what's moving forward. This needs to be the consistent lineup. And what irks me the most is that why wasn't this done the entire second half? I understand people were injured, but I mean, you could have put something like this together. Something like this could have happened. I know the international breaks, the windows, that's different. You're missing a good chunk of players like that. But if you put guys that can do the job in those same spots and play that way, it's something that the whole team is used to for the most part. So it shouldn't be far-fetched that the guy who's number 2 on the depth chart or number 3 on the depth chart, they should know how to play this way. So I'm all for keeping this together moving forward. Then next season, if you want to try something different, that's fine. You can do it. You have opportunities to do that with preseason and things like that. But for now, this core, the way they're playing, this style needs to be pushed forward. And I think it's going to give us our best chance to get some points here, to get some W's.
This lineup can, the way that they played the last two games, this lineup, this formation, this style of play can take them all the way to the final. If you ask me, looking at the lineups in the Eastern Conference, this can totally take them pretty far. I want to get to a couple comments because as the topic says up on the board here, defending too much in the second half, ? CJ says if we score early versus Atlanta and sit back inviting players like Martinez and giving them opportunities, they will get at least one away goal, and that's what we can't afford to do. So especially, dude, that's more my issue. Like obviously the style that they played, inviting some of the pressure in the second half, got them the wins both on Sunday and last night in the knockout round. But when you look at a two-leg series where your first game is played at home, giving up a goal, even as they did to Philly in the 83rd minute, you give that up to Atlanta. That's an arrow in the quiver for them to be able to stick it right in our heart. So you got to really be careful with that. You obviously want to play for the win. You don't want to play for the tie, but you also want to make sure that I understand. You also want to make sure that you want to limit the opportunities that Atlanta has. So doing that, not inviting guys like Almiron, who we just found out that he trained with the first team today, or a day ago, whatever it was. When these guys are back and they're fit and they're playing at the level that they're supposed to be playing at, you don't want to invite those guys in, especially at Yankee Stadium, which is a short pitch. You create a bad turnover in the midfield, and you're 20 yards away from a scoring opportunity if you're Miguel Almiron or Joseph Martinez or anybody else for that matter on that Atlanta side. So for me, too much defending in the second half. You need to push the play a little bit closer to the midfield as opposed to sitting back in our own third. Joey is saying that it wasn't necessarily that we sat back as much as being fine with not having the ball to start the second half. But the problem with that is that if you're okay with starting the second half inviting pressure, at what point do you break it? Because you're not controlling the game at that point. You're allowing the other team to control the tempo and the play of the game. You need, in my opinion, you got to control the game from the outset. The way that we've been playing the first halves of these last two matches has been full control of the game, whether we started with the ball or not. We wanted control, we wanted possession, but we wanted forward possession, not just possession. We wanted forward possession. We created attacking chances and scoring chances. That's what you need the entire game. I know you can't do that for 90 minutes, and the substitutes don't necessarily always allow for that, but you got to try. You can't give guys like Joseph Martinez an opportunity to pick up an away goal or two against NYCFC at Yankee Stadium. It's just it's too easy for a man like that who's got an eye for goal to find it on that field. It's just too simple.
Yeah, and remember, I mean, inviting pressure from a 6 seed versus a seed that theoretically, should have finished first place this year. It's a big difference. Their weapons are much more, their arsenal is much bigger than Philadelphia's is. You got some really class players on that field. Not that Philadelphia doesn't have class, but I mean, you're talking about these guys are really going to bring it. So it'll be interesting to see. I know we have the guys to shut down Martinez. I know we do. I know Callens and Chanot, especially the way they've been playing lately, they have the ability to do it. I think Chanot has been really, really solid. I don't see Ibeagha making an appearance here unless it's in a substitute for
shut the game down.
An offensive player, going with a 5 at the back, something of that nature. But I think they've got the foundation, and now it's time to build. And it's not time to go crazy. It's time to take the risk where they're warranted and play safe when it's called for. But ultimately, this is what needs to be done moving forward. You got to take these 2 games and you got to roll with them, and you have to expand on them, and you got to expand little by little. You don't have to go crazy. Take it, half by half, and just especially with the home game. If you can eliminate them from scoring, you've got a huge advantage going into Atlanta. Because one goal turns into 2 very, very quickly with the away goal. So,
yep.
We'll see what happens. We'll see. It's interesting. It's a great, to me, a great game. Great game for sure.
I want to get up to this, dude, because we didn't, we talked a lot of positives, obviously, here. But
yes.
my question to the people in the comments, and I want to get to a couple of comments here, dude. Did we give up a goal too easy to Philly, right? Ilsinho comes on, and we saw him create some havoc for NYCFC on Sunday night when he came on as a sub. But he came on as a sub and essentially, dude, dribbled through 3 or 4 defenders to find Corey Burke, who was literally just standing by himself at the edge of the 6-yard box, and literally just a tap in here. I'm getting some comments here saying that Ben Sweat didn't have a great game. I thought he was a little late to some balls. That non-penalty call, that was certainly topic for controversy here. But what worried me about this, dude, was that goal was given up way too easy. And had that goal come in, and obviously Ilsinho wasn't on the field, but had that goal come in the first half, I think the game would have been completely different. So my whole thing is, yes, our defense is playing phenomenal. Maxime Chanot had an awesome game. Alexander Callens had an awesome game. Even Tinnerholm and Sweat to some degrees. Having Herrera in the lineup is allowing Alexander Ring to kind of stay back and defend, or get forward and Herrera stay back and defend. So our wingbacks actually have an opportunity to get forward. So defending from those guys is a little bit tricky to kind of judge. But from what we did see, was that goal given up too easily, dude? Because I feel like it 100% was.
I think that is. And same thing with the goal on Sunday. I think the team was too focused on it's like thinking too many steps ahead before you realize what's going on in front of you. You're already thinking about counterattacking before you have possession of the ball. You're trying to get ready to make your runs and things when you think a tackle's going to be made, or you think the ball's going to be jarred loose, and all of a sudden it's not given up and you're out of position. So again, does it worry me? Yes. I'm glad you have a bigger lead when that happens. But again, your lead is not guaranteed.
You're seeing that from Philly.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not guaranteed to score 3 goals against Atlanta. And if you're just scoring 1 and all of a sudden you let it go in like that, it's pretty devastating.
Dude, it happened last year against Columbus.
Yeah, exactly.
Same kind of thing. You remember Harrison Awful dribbled through 4 or 5 defenders to just tap it past John Johnson. So
Yeah.
Those kinds of goals absolutely infuriate me. The ones where you literally allow one player to dribble through your entire back line. Very similar to the way Luciano Acosta did a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Completely just sliced through us like a hot knife through butter. When you have players that you're playing against that are at a higher caliber than Ilsinho, like we're going to be facing for the next 2 matches against Atlanta, those types of goals cannot happen. It's one thing if you're just beat by a better team, but if you're beat by single-handedly one guy, that drives me crazy. Like, listen, you're not going to stop the team goal that David Villa scored or the goal that Izzy scored. You know, that's a team goal. That's a built-up goal and then finished by some class. This was literally one guy slicing through our defense like it was absolutely nothing to find literally a guy at the top of the box with an open net. It was too easy. CJ says they looked a little too complacent. Gare is also saying that 5 of us trying to stop their guy is very scary. Joey says that Johnson was furious with Ben Sweat afterwards. Our backline seemed to fall asleep momentarily once we went up 3-0, but overall they played great. So again, I'm not trying to harp on too much negativity here, but look at the opponent. You got to look at the opponent ahead, and you say goals like that you let up against Philly really cannot happen. You got to close those gaps. Especially when there's 5 players on one freaking guy, dude. Jeez, come on.
Yeah, that seems to be an issue with this team lately. If you get guys directly running forward at you, it seems to have been causing issues. I'm not sure what you can do as far as fixing it. I mean, you're going to pick up some fouls. You got to be careful with that. But again, there are times where smart fouls are called for, and knocking a guy down, before he gets anywhere near the box sometimes is warranted, rather than him, possibly beating 3 guys to get to the net. You do what you gotta do. I mean, you don't try not to be stupid about it and pick up a red like we've done last year, with the old slap to the face from Callan.
The Terminator.
Yeah, but again, trying to break up the play in the middle of the field, owning the ball, I think is the biggest thing. If you can own the possession after you have a lead, and you limit their chances to run at you, that's probably the best thing you can do. Easier said than done with this team, with most teams for that matter. But if you can control the ball and work it between your midfielders and keep it, again, they're going to end up putting pressure on you if they're down. And once they do that, they're going to open up gaps down the field. And that's where that long ball over the top comes into play. So you got to be ready for that. So it's just owning the ball is going to be a huge part of this game. Owning it and then knowing what to do with it. And, luckily we've been able to find that the last 2 games. But we've seen that, before that it was a little bit, difficult for us. Now let's just hope we're on the right path and we keep moving.
Let's move on to some fun stuff here, dude.
Fun stuff.
Because Andre Blake got chipped again by another NYCFC player. Is this
almost twice?
Almost twice by the same player. Look, I have to eat crow a little bit here, dude. I do. Because during the game, I texted you and I said Maxi Morales is not a striker. That's a dumb move putting him up top with David Villa. And I got to take that back a little bit, because not only did he score an unbelievable goal against Andre Blake, who made a horrible mistake, let's face it, dude, coming that far off the line, not really sure what to do. He was asking for it, right, at that point.
Yeah.
Anton Tinnerholm played an absolutely... He placed it on a platter. He placed it on a platter for Maxi, and Maxi chipped it, went right in. Almost did it again. I got to eat a little bit of crow on that, dude, because kudos to Maxi for not only getting in behind Trusty, but for applying that absolutely pinpoint accurate, beautiful chip of a finish.
And think about it. I mean, a chip for Maxi is harder. He's it's so
close
small.
To the ball.
You really gotta get under it. You gotta get a lob wedge under that ball. But again, it just goes to his positioning where, yes, he has the freedom to wander that far forward and get his opportunities, but a majority of his great work is done in the middle of the field. He picked up 2 assists in that game from the middle of the field. That's where he belongs. The extra bonus, the icing on the cake is the fact that he can wander a little too much, a little farther forward, and all of a sudden he'll spring a run on you like that. And he'll do it once or twice a game or 3 times a game. And he has that finishing ability, which is nice. So, again, you have yourself a little, your center. He's like a cross between a traditional center mid and an attacking mid. He has the tendency to do both. And he's got that creativity. He's got the accuracy with the passing. And he's also got the scoring ability. And he can switch, in between the two of them, warranted he's in the right spot on the field. It's really hard for him to create when he's in the striker position, because who is he creating it to?
Right.
It's hard to do so.
He's not really a target guy, dude. I mean, like, just as
he can't be. He can't be. And you sent me a text message that says he was target man in the box for a cross, and I'm like, there's no way this ball's getting to his head. It's just he's not a target man like that. He's a good cutback man when you've got the wingers moving forward down the flanks, and all of a sudden everyone's in the box and he's at the top waiting for something to be cut, waiting for the cutback. But as far as waiting to be a receiver in the box, he just doesn't have the size.
Yeah.
But the way he was deployed the last 2 games is the way he's going to best help this team win a game.
If it gets us the results that we've been getting the last 2 games, we'll keep playing him exactly the way he was playing him. That's 100% it. That's 100% it. My mom is commenting, which is really funny. She got texting me during the game. She gets so mad how much Maxey gets beat up on, and she's like, they got to leave him alone. She literally just commented, I don't like the players knocking him down because of his height.
I don't think they do it on purpose. I think it's just that's the fact of it.
He draws that kind of attention. Like, that's
when gentlemen's center of gravity are our shoulders. His shoulders are usually about knee height on everyone else. So when you get legs all around you, it's easy to fall over.
So mathematically,
he and Herrera took a beating.
Yeah,
took a beating all game long. And I think Herrera, there was one foul late that he wasn't given a yellow on that I think if he got a yellow, I don't think anybody would have complained about it. But I think the fact that he was constantly beat up upon the entire game, I think the referee gave him a little bit of slack there towards the end, because he was just getting manhandled. But he was still doing a great job on the ball. And I'm really surprised at what that one person can do to a team, because since he's come back, it's been a completely different. Again, now the lineup went back to where it used to be, and they're playing the style they used to play. And they did win a handful of games without Herrera. If you remember, Ofori subbed in for him, and he did relatively well. But they were still playing this style of soccer. They didn't start tinkering around with different things. So it's great to see everybody back in their spots. And I think this midfield is the main reason why we can do what we do. We got talent everywhere, but the midfielders are really the catalyst.
Oh, they're killing it. They're killing it. I want to talk a little bit about the midfield in a second, too, but I want to get to a comment here. Zoran is saying, did you guys see when Maxey was holding on to Harris Madunian's leg? That was hysterical. Like, he was grabbing onto him like a munchkin. He
was exhausted. He was exhausted,
like,
and he wanted the whistle, and the referee was smart enough not to give it to him.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Oh, the comments are coming in, dude. DC just scored. We got the DC United Columbus Crew knockout game. Everybody's commenting 1-0 to DC. I'll tell you what, dude. I think it was it Frederick Briant?
I don't
Frederick Briant has scored for DC and in the correct goal.
I have it on my TV now, and I'm a little late. Rooney with a long free kick.
Yeah, dude, I just saw it. Briant put it in. That's DC up 1-0 at Audi Field. That's fantastic. Everybody's commenting. Yo, guys, Briant just scored, says Michael. That's fantastic. If you guys are listening on the podcast, sorry you already know this happened, but this is fun because we're watching it in real time. But anyway, dude, let's go back to the midfield here for a second, because I'm not ready to eat a ton of crow yet on this one. This is like the humble pie episode for me. But I want to say that having Yangel Herrera back has been an absolutely tremendous difference maker, because it does a couple of things. He can create if need be. He can attract attention. He can swap out with Alex Ring when need be. He's another defensive-minded player that can allow Maxey to go and be about the field and do his thing. He allows Alex Ring to go about and do his thing. It's amazing how well this midfield is playing since he's come back on the field. And it started when he came on as a sub against DC United. And from there, dude, our midfield has looked better and better and better. And I don't want to say it, but I think a lot of this has to do with Yangel Herrera coming back.
I think him in the lineup ends up boosting everyone's abilities, it seems like, because everyone's got a little bit more space, everyone's got a little bit more time, because the midfield, the way they play with Yangel there, or anybody that really plays his style and can hold it down, you're allowing everybody a little bit more room to be a little more free, and everyone brings a little bit something different to the table. The way Shradi runs versus the way Villa runs versus the way Mata and Sweat switch off, it all makes a big difference. And a little bit more room is the difference between a rushed shot or a rushed pass and a perfectly placed one. So for me, yeah, I mean, he's been there. Again, we've seen this team do it without him. And I would ultimately like to see them do it without him again, because you don't want one player to be that detrimental. Because all it takes is one idiot to excuse me, all it takes is one idiot to slide tackle him from behind and end this postseason, and then all of a sudden we don't know what we're doing.
Right.
You don't want that to happen. So you don't want to depend too much on one person. But for me, I think he's made a big difference. And again, I wasn't a huge fan of his before, but now
he was too hot and cold, dude. He was too hot and cold. You could pin too many mistakes on him for the positives that he brought to the game. And now I'm feeling like this midfield cannot operate the way it's meant to operate unless this man is on the field. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, you 110% need Maxi Morales on the field. You 110% need Alex Ring to be on the field. But having Herrera being that link between the two is, I think it's been key. It's been amazing to watch through the creativity coming out of the midfield. How many times do we say we have zero creativity coming out of the midfield when we were seeing Morales, Ring, and Amagat, or Morales, Ring, and Ofori, or you know what I mean? Like there was nothing creative and exciting coming out of that midfield. And now look at the scoring chances. Not only are they getting the chances, but they're converting the chances. It's just it's absolutely fantastic. It's good. It's great to watch.
Yeah.
It's great to watch.
A lot of great passes out of the midfield too. I mean, you're seeing passes with outside of the boot and inside of the boot, and with curl on them, and the ball ending up at just the right place, the right time. Some of the through balls to Villa and Mata. I thought Mata had a great game too, by the way. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he had a couple of key passes. I thought when they gave him space, he took it. And again, when you're playing out of the back, and they give you a little bit of space, you need to take it and move your back line up a little bit. This way you kind of push all your numbers forward and you defend like Doman wants to defend, with a high line. If they give you space, you take it. And that's what they did. When Mata saw the room or Callan sees the room, they usually take it. You don't see it too much from Sweat. Not Sweat. You don't see it too much from Chanel. I think he's more of the stay-at-home, make sure everything's all right back there guy.
You see it more from Collins, dude. You see him more getting up a lot.
There are a couple games where you see Collins make a run from Sean Johnson to the box.
But he has no idea what to do with it.
He's like,
I don't belong here. I don't belong here.
You're letting me go this far? Like, you're not touching me. What's going on? I don't understand.
Yeah, but then he gets into the final third. He's like, what the hell do I do? What do I do with the ball? It's very, very funny. Dude, listen, it's that time. Let's get to the dude of the match, the part of the episode where we figure out the player that made the most impact on top of what they normally bring to the game week in and week out. And this is now who was the, because I wasn't at the stadium, who was the man of the match in the stadium?
Why don't you guess? I'll give you a guess. You tell me.
Don't tell me it was David Villa.
It is always
He was the he was the guy.
He is the Heineken, because everybody just votes because he scores goals.
All right. So so David Villa was the star of the match at the stadium last night. I disagree with this. I'm giving it to a player that we spent a bulk of this episode talking about, and that's Maxi Morales. Dude, two assists and a goal, and he also chipped Andre Blake. Come on, guys, put him in the comments. Miguelito is saying I'm a guy. Get out of here.
Banned.
That better. That's right.
No
Ban delete. Yeah, dude, Maxi Morales, dude, had a hell of a game. Had an absolutely hell of a game. The performance he gave, and again, you could make the case for Herrera, you could make the case for Ring, but at the same time, you can make the case for Shradi and Villa. But I think when you just look at, I mean, dude, just pure numbers, Maxi Morales 100%. I mean, it's hard to not give it to him.
No, easy one, and that's not to discount the work that Villa and Shradi
no,
not at all. It's just that, the reason why David Villa got his goal was because of Maxi, and it's just the way it goes. It's still his job, but getting that many numbers, compiling that many stats, that many points in one game. Listen, if you get that from him every game, it's unbelievable. It's a high number of statistics to accumulate in one game. On top of that, he gets a beating almost every night when he plays. He really was the main cog of the engine for the offense.
This is a good comment here, dude. This is a good comment. Joey is saying that when you can make a case for 3 to 5 players, it's a great sign of how the team is playing.
Yeah.
And that's what we've wanted. That's what we wanted. But remember, due to the match is somebody that does what they're supposed to do and then takes it a step higher. Right? Because if that was the case, Alex Ring would get, due to the match, every game. That dude shows up week in, week out for 90 minutes every single time and, doesn't get that kind of attention. It's only when they do the things that are above and beyond what they're supposed to do. And Maxi Morales, dude, 110% did that this match. There's no question. There's absolutely no question. So that's kind of an easy one, dude. Maxi Morales gets to do the match. And I will say this, because somebody did comment on this. Zoran is saying people can't just hold the ball in their feet because he always finds a way to take it. Dude, he finds a way of sneaking up behind you and just grabbing the ball. And then he grabs your ankles, but he just picks your pocket.
It's very hard to ward him off because of his size. That's one of the things where the size helps you out, where it's very easy to draw fouls, especially in the right areas where there's multiple guys on you. The closer you get to the box, and he's made it an art form of knowing, how to get the fouls called on him.
Dude, we got some breaking news coming in right now. Columbus has tied the game. Federico Higuain has put one in on Bill Hamid, and it's now 1-1. This is gonna be a good game, guys. It's been pretty end to end. I have it here on my iPad here playing. It's been pretty end to end. Very physical matchup. But I tell you what, I like DC's chances here, and I would love to see a DC United and New York Red Bulls semifinal.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Considering that would mean my bracket is almost 100% so far.
I don't even want to ask who you have winning the cup. I'm not even going to ask.
I'm not giving it out. I
don't want to talk about that.
But I will let you know right now. As of the first 2 games, I am 100%.
There you go. This is definitely an exciting game, and this has been a good episode, dude. This has been fantastic. We have the first game of a 2-leg series, NYCFC taking on Atlanta at home on Sunday. We still don't know what time it is, but that's going to be announced soon. It's either 5:30 or 7:30 Eastern. I'm not really sure when that is, but we'll definitely be there. This one I'm definitely going to be at, which I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. Hopefully, Dome plays the same. Hope they play very similar. I wouldn't change too much. This is very similar to what we saw that week where Dome won 3 out of 3 games because they were all home games, right? Didn't really change too much tactically. Went right after it. It was one of his first weeks here, dude, when he wasn't implementing his Dome changes, his domestic disputes, his domestic violence, however you want to put it. I'm trying to name it.
We'll figure something out, but again, my whole issue, the whole issue with the argument with Dome becomes, why did it take an entire half of a season to figure out you need to go back to what was working?
I understand that, but boy, did he pick a hell of a time to start getting it right. This is it.
A hell of a day to quit drinking.
This is what we've been talking about. It could be that the knockout round, the knockout game, was just the game that they needed to get that momentum. Fortunately, it was against the same, team that they played 3 days prior. Fortunately, it was at home, right? But at the same time, they need games. They need wins. They need consistent wins. And this is a perfect opportunity for them to do that. And now playing one more game at home against Atlanta. I understand it's Atlanta. I understand it's a very difficult team to play against. But let me tell you, this is the best time to get it right, dude. This is the absolute best time to get it right. I want to get on,
especially with Atlanta.
One more topic of discussion, dude, before we wrap this up. From a comment on Facebook.
What do we got?
Joey is saying, interesting fact. Atlanta United is the only Eastern Conference team that Dome has not coached against. Do you think that is good, bad, or indifferent? And yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think he's running into a vulnerable Atlanta right now. He's not running into the buzzsaw Atlanta that was, running amok for a majority of the season.
But it's playoffs,
you're running into
dude.
A team where a coach is leaving. You've got some turmoil amongst the players. You've got injuries to a couple of key players. You had a Shield loss, a total crapping of the bed, the collective bed, if you will, dropping the Shield. So I think now you're looking at a slightly different Atlanta team, but ultimately you have to realize that they still have that talent and that ability to move forward and put a game together like they have had so many great ones throughout the season. I don't know if that helps us or if it hurts us. Honestly, I think if Dome stays with the way we've been playing the last 2 games, I think ultimately we'll probably be evenly matched, just because the first 2 games we played against them, we were evenly matched playing this style. So I think we match up pretty well at that point. I think it's going to take a little bit of individual efforts here and there to make it really extraordinary. I think you're going to have to see some of our offensive players go above and beyond what we normally get from them in order to get points here. I think Villa's going to have to be Villa, but I think supplemental guys like Shradi, Medina, Mata, if he's playing up there, I think those guys are going to have to influence the game a little bit more than they usually do in order for us to be successful.
I want to get to Christian's comment about this. Says, I think it means nothing so long as you commit to fielding your best 11 with tactics they're comfortable playing, which we kind of just touched on a little bit here, dude.
Yeah.
That being said, I got to pull it up because I can't quite remember it. Toronto FC scored 4 goals against Atlanta United on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay? If somebody scored 4 goals, if Toronto FC, who finished in 9th place in the Eastern Conference, can put 4 goals against an Atlanta United defense, when Atlanta United is away, NYCFC can do it too.
Sure, absolutely. It's you gotta get it right. Gotta get it right.
That's my thing, and I think ultimately, dude, that's what obviously all NYCFC fans want. But realistically, We need a big spread on this game. We really do. We need to go up several goals on Atlanta for me to feel comfortable going down to Mercedes-Benz Stadium the following Sunday. Because you know what, dude? That's a tough place to play when you're playing in front of 71,000 fans for the opposing team. It's going to be very difficult to go down there. We've proven that we can get a result down there. We still haven't won down there yet. But it's a tough place to play. They need to come out super strong on Sunday at Yankee Stadium and continue this pattern of the fortress and put up 3-4 goals against Atlanta the same way that Toronto was able to do. Because, dude, if the cushion that gives is what we're used to being against in the playoffs.
Yeah. It would be nice to be on the other side of it for once, for sure.
And look, maybe this knockout game served as that opportunity to get to that point. That's what we all hope to see. That's what we all hope to see. But
yep.
Dude, that's pretty much taking us to the end here, man.
We're in stoppage time. 1 minute in stoppage time.
This is good. This was good. I feel right. I feel
better. I feel a little more regular right now.
I don't know that I'm off of the Dome out train. I don't know about any of that just yet. I think because the playoffs 100% have hit a reset button for me. Because
it looks like it.
Because that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like right now. From where we're sitting right now, it looks like the reset button has been hit, not the panic button.
Yeah. It just makes you scratch your head and wonder why it took so damn long.
Blessing in disguise, dude. That knockout game could be the difference maker for us. I mean, you got to remember, we have not experienced this before.
Maybe that was the strategy. Maybe it was like get enough points to finish somewhere near the top, tank the second half of the season, and rest everybody.
The playoffs.
Rest everybody, and then playoffs come and take off again.
Slice right through it. Well, guys, we really do appreciate you. We appreciate you hanging out with us for episode 132 of the Dudes in Blue NYCFC Talk Show. Make sure to give us the review on Facebook or iTunes, depending on where you guys are watching or listening. We're at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dudes in Blue. It's always really, really easy to get a hold of us on there. We're going to be back here, good, bad, or ugly, on Monday night after Atlanta comes to town for the first round of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Dude, it's playoff soccer, baby.
Oh, hell yeah. Just remember, if you're traveling Sunday, you have the marathon to deal with. I'm pretty sure we played another game on marathon. I think it was against Toronto, maybe?
2 years ago? 2 years ago.
I think so. And I think they were late to the stadium because they couldn't figure out how to work around the marathon.
You could be right.
I think it sounds. Listen, I could be making it up, but it sounds damn good. So,
yeah.
Just remember your travel could be impacted. I know we got fans coming from all over the place, so just keep that in mind when you're moving around and try to check your schedules out ahead of time and get there early. You know, get comfortable and be ready to cheer your ass off because we're gonna need it.
Bring the noise.
Bring the noise.
I have to let out all of the extra screaming that I did not get to do on Wednesday night. I will be bringing it with me. Rest assured.
Bring it.
Rest assured.
Guys, don't waste it in traffic, though.
No, absolutely not. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us for episode 132. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, we're at Dudes in Blue. Make sure to give us the follow. Leave us the review if you like the show, and we really do appreciate it. Guys, we will be back Monday night. Until then, stay blue.